Hi everyone, Mike Stuchiner, Master Herbalist here, and as always I am with my co-host and sidekick, Bones, B-O-N-E Bones. So, as the expression goes, 'tis the season to be jolly. But 'tis is also the season that we're about to enter here in the US known as winter, or some also might know it as cold and flu season. And I would probably say one of the more well-known herbs that tends to take center stage during this time of year is what I also consider to be a most misunderstood herb, which is Echinacea. Okay? And the reason I tend to think that Echinacea has gotten what you call I don't want to say it's gotten a bad rap, because I think that that's really not true. What I do believe though is Echinacea, you get very different reviews about Echinacea, and I think that there are two primary reasons for that, okay? Reason number one is because most people are not using Echinacea the way it was meant to be used, so therefore they're using it incorrectly, and they're especially using it incorrectly based on perhaps the product that they have purchased, because they don't understand the product that they have purchased, okay? And number two is because while there are many wonderful Echinacea products out there, there are also a lot of products out there that will use the inferior species of Echinacea, which also might make the Echinacea product that someone is using a little bit less effective, which therefore means that that person doesn't understand that they may have to use a lot more of what they're taking in order to get the same effect. Okay? This is why I will always reiterate this as many times as I have to. This is why I strongly encourage people to only buy herbal medicine products from true herb companies, not from companies that make vitamins, minerals, and nutraceuticals. Because oftentimes when a company makes so many products, hundreds and hundreds of products, what ends up happening is that they will cut corners somewhere, and it is often in the area of quality, okay? So therefore, stick with herb companies when you want to buy herbal products. That's the reason why I did my my 7 criteria my top 7 criteria video, and my top 4 herb company video. Okay, because I cannot stress enough the importance of, if you're going to buy herbs, buy them from herb companies. Okay, so as I stated just before, today's video is going to be on what I consider to be one of the more misunderstood herbs, and that is the herb Echinacea. And Echinacea, there are what I consider probably 4 areas, my top 4 areas we'll call them, that I believe must be understood in order to purchase and utilize Echinacea correctly in a very targeted approach, if you want to get the most bang for your buck out of this wonderful and extremely effective and powerful plant medicine, okay? So, the first area that must be understood is to understand the species of Echinacea and the parts that are used in your Echinacea product that you purchase. I want to be very clear. The purpose of what I'm trying to do today is because there is a lot of complex information. I have condensed this down to the actual most important things, and I have really simplified this for you guys. So what you're about to listen to is going to absolutely be the simplest version of this information, okay? So let's begin with the species. The 2 most common species that are used in products of Echinacea are the Purpurea species and the Angustifolia species. And if you were to take a survey of, I don't know, let's say 100 herbalists, my guess would be that at least 90 of them would tell you that the Purpurea species of Echinacea is absolutely going to be the stronger of the two, and more than likely because it has a higher concentration of the constituents in the different parts. Now, does that mean that Angustifolia is useless? No. But if you are going to use a product that does contain Angustifolia, you want it to be what would be considered the minority species in the product. You got that? All right. Now, when we talk about the parts used, there are two basic areas of the Echinacea. There is the root, and then there is what is known as the aerial portion. When you read on a label something that's stated as aerial, that means above ground, and that means the stem and the flower portion, okay? And it's important to understand why companies that make an Echinacea product for a more targeted approach, for you to use it correctly, it's important to understand why sometimes you'll see products that have both the aerial and the root, and other times what you'll see is you'll see products that focus solely on the root portion with supportive herbs, and then you'll see products that focus on the aerial portion alone with the supportive herbs that are necessary. Okay, so the root portion is specifically concentrated, or has, I should say, has a higher concentration of alkylamides. Okay, and alkylamides' primary target is to support a healthy inflammation response within your constitutional response to a cold and flu. Okay, and it is oftentimes best used during the acute stage of a cold or a flu, okay? The aerial portion, stem and flower, are very rich and concentrated in lipoproteins and polysaccharides. And in this specific case, it is used to help stimulate and strengthen the constitutional response. Okay? Now, let's go on to talk about the timing, okay? Because I think that this is a really important aspect of how and why people really, how should I say, shit the bed when they use Echinacea, okay? So there seems to be this idea that Echinacea should only be used in one way, right when that first feeling of not feeling so good, or those first set of symptoms hit. And that's when you start attacking and using Echinacea. Well, again, that to a certain extent is very true, but here's the problem. The problem is it is very much dependent on the product and the part of the plants that are being used within that product. So, when we talk about timing, there are two ways of using Echinacea: as a preventative and as what I like to call a resolvent, to resolve the problem, and which is also considered more of what you might call acute usage. Okay, so with prevention, you want, if you're going to use Echinacea in a preventative way, you want to use a product that focuses solely on the aerial portion, stem and flower, with the herbs that will work as supportive herbs to the mechanisms of action that that portion of Echinacea performs. If you're looking to use it as a resolvent, then You want to focus on products that use the root portion of the herb with additional supportive herbs within that formula. Okay? Now, the length of time is the next area that I believe is, again, one of the more misunderstood scenarios. And remember, I'm going to keep reiterating in this video, all of these areas, when I say are misunderstood, it's misunderstood based on the type of Echinacea product you have, the parts of the plants being used, and what supportive herbs are in there. Okay, so to just pick up a bottle of Echinacea off the shelf and say, I'm going to use Echinacea, well, if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know and don't understand that the parts of the plant that are in there and what other things are in that formula will absolutely dictate, 100% will dictate the following: the timing and the length of time. When I say timing, what I mean by timing is whether you're using it as a preventative or a resolvent, and then the length of time that you're going to use this particular product. Okay? Now let's discuss length of time. Okay? So when you have a product that focuses on the root portion with supportive herbs, then you want to use it for a shorter duration of time, meaning anywhere between, let's say, 2 to 8 days. It could go longer. This is just general. 2 to 8 days is a general time frame. You want to have higher doses of it, and you want it to be much more frequently, 5-6 times a day. You want to really spread that product out, okay? If you're going to focus on products that use specifically the aerial portion, you want to use a much lower amount for an extended period of time. This is something that you could use almost as a preventative by taking small amounts of it for the entire winter season. Okay? So, with all that information explained and simplified, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you my top 3 picks for this time of year, or really for any time of year when it comes to Echinacea products. Now, I will state that there are many wonderful Echinacea products out there. Again, I've already stated this once, I'll state it again. The company Herbalist and Alchemist makes wonderful Echinacea products. The company Herb Farm makes wonderful Echinacea products, and they both focus on the Purpurea species of Echinacea, so that you are going to get a better and stronger product, okay? But the one company that I think does a spectacular job in making what I like to call targeted approach Echinacea products is Gaia Herbs. And I'm going to tell you about 3 of their items, okay? And these are 3 items that I think most people should keep in what I like to call the winter medicine cabinet, all right? So the first one is called Echinacea Supreme. Now, Echinacea Supreme is basically a full spectrum whole plant Echinacea product. It comes in tincture form, and it also comes in their liquid cap form, okay? So for those of you who don't like the taste of Echinacea or don't want to have that flavor of Echinacea in their mouth, which I happen to like, that little, tingling on the tongue feeling, shall we say, what you want to do is you can use the liquid caps. It's no big deal. So this product is actually made up of, this product is made up of both the aerial portion and the root portion of the herb. The focus is where you have Echinacea, the Purpurea version, or I should say species, the root, the seed, and the aerial portion, okay? And it also puts in there, in a much smaller amount, Angustifolia root. Okay, so it's a very well-rounded, well-balanced echinacea product. The next product is called Quick Defense. Now, Quick Defense focuses on the Quick Defense focuses on the root portion of the echinacea product. Okay, and in this product you have both species of the root, plus you also have in there all the supportive herbs for a healthy constitutional response. It has ginger, angiographis, and elderberry. So you have a really well-balanced product. Now, this is a product that, because it is called Quick Defense, it's all in the name. This is a product that you're going to use on the first sight and the first feeling of those symptoms of not feeling so well. And you're going to use 2 capsules 5 times a day for 2 to 4 days. And then you're done. Okay? Again, I want to remind you all, this is using the portion of the portion of the plant that is used for acute responses. So it's using the root with the supportive herbs. So therefore, we're using this as a resolvent, okay, for acute responses. Again, 2 to 4 day, short duration, high amounts, 2 capsules, up to 5 times a day. Okay? The final product is called Whole Body Defense. And in this particular case, Whole Body Defense is going to be using the aerial portion of the herbs to help stimulate and strengthen the constitutional response. Again, this is a product that you are going to use over the entire winter season if you're choosing to use a product of this nature, because it is going to be used as a preventative. It is using the aerial portion of the plant, the stem and the flower and the seed, and it is adding to that astragalus, maitake, and larch gum extract, all of which are plant medicines rich in polysaccharides. Okay? So, to review, you have 3 items from Gaia Herbs that I believe, from a Master Herbalist perspective, should be in your winter medicine cabinet. Okay? You have the Echinacea Supreme, you have Quick Defense, which is used in acute situations, and then you have Whole Body Defense, which is a product targeted towards prevention and long-term usage over a 3-month period. Okay? So I'm going to go back to my original statement from the beginning of this video, guys and girls. Okay? I believe that the biggest reasons why Echinacea is so misunderstood is because when people buy their Echinacea products, they're not utilizing them the way they were intended to be used. Therefore, the next time you go to the store, and if you choose not to listen to my recommendations when it comes to products, whatever Echinacea products you're choosing to use, keep in mind what parts of the plants are being used. And if there are any supportive herbs in those formulas. And that will dictate to you the most important aspects of how you use Echinacea, the timing, the length of time, and the dosage. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this was a very educational video. I hope that this has cleared up any misconceptions about Echinacea and why you shouldn't just throw Echinacea to the side as being one of these mediocre herbs. Echinacea is an amazing herb. It has profound effects when used correctly. And the beautiful thing about it is, as you now know, there are wonderful products on the market that can give you a very specific targeted approach on how you can use Echinacea. Mike Stuchiner, Master Herbalist. Bones, my sidekick. Signing out. We'll see you next time.